Welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. We have 22 properties, including one on the Ortis system, 21 on Treb. We have two overlapping MLS districts in Milton. Hooray, it's a little bit annoying, but that's how it works. So we've got, I'm going to show you the Ortis one first, or the Omdrab. Oakville Milton has kind of joined with some of the West, Guelph, Cambridge, to amalgamate information. That you have the whole GTA, but this is from that West area. So you've got 1025 square feet in Green Life, very desirable building. Now, per square foot, you're looking at 500 and pretty much 540 a square foot, roughly. Which is still high. There was a small unit that sold over on Whitmer for like 6 something, but that's what you find is the smaller ones tend to be a little bit higher per square foot. The new Art on Main condos are selling for anywhere between 600 and 630 a square foot, which I think is insane. Maybe I'll be proven wrong in a few years. But this is still per square foot very high for the building. It's had some nice finishes, and there's a lot of demand to live in these buildings. You've got these solar panels here, and then you've got the train tracks right behind that. So with this particular building, you're either facing train tracks or you're facing Main Street. But you're a good walking distance to downtown for things like the farmers market. And the finishes look nice. Like I said, I can't say enough good things about the building. The residents, there's a good mix of retired, all the way down to first-time buyers and young families. Pets are allowed, which is good, and you've got things like, and I've talked about them many times, triple pane glass, which is helpful if you're facing train tracks. ICF walls, which really cut down on noise. Solar panels, which there's months when you're selling probably $100,000 as a condo corporation back to Milton Hydro for the power generated, which is what keeps the condo fees at 12 cents a square foot. There are buildings in town right now, new buildings, even newer than this, that are charging 40, 50 cents a square foot, all the way up to higher than that at something like 100 Millside 443 Centennial Forest. So there's that one there, and then we're going to move over to the Toronto system to talk about a few of those. Now, 1045 Nadlin Heights, number 309. We have a July possession date. It's important to know that. And look at this one here, 1148 square feet, 472 maintenance fees. So what's that? Maintenance fees is about 40 cents a square foot. Sounds right. Yep, 40 cents a square foot. Sounds good to me. You do have 2 parking spaces. So there's, I believe, one underground, and then you have one on the surface. And so I'll let you look at the pictures, but my point is on this one, 1148 square feet. Then you go 2 down in the list, and you have 800 and something square foot Mambo model, and they're asking $20,000 more, and both of them are taking offers anytime. So which one do you think is better? Obviously 300 square feet for 20,000 less. It's not even a fair fight. Now, one thing I will mention with those previous ones, the higher priced one, I guess, has bought out their furnace, AC, and hot water tank. So the HVAC system in these buildings, the lower rise buildings, is usually rented, right? So you see that even over at Costigan and so on. But so that's, I guess, an advantage. I'd still choose the other one for sure. Anyway, 34 Van Fleet. This is a Bolton model, 1275 square feet. This model has sold in 2016 for, kind of low to mid 600s. This one is priced at $499. We saw that yesterday at McCready too, is that you almost have to price it so ridiculously low right now to get any kind of multiple offers. And then remember, the further you are away from your goal, the less chance you've got in actually getting that price. So it's a risky move. I mean, I would always look at the plan B and say, okay, if this doesn't work out, what's the next step? You really do not have a second chance to make a first impression, but it's very low right now. I mean, there's a few in this list that are like that, a few in yesterday's list that are just like, what is going on? But you do what you can to get the eyeballs, I guess. Another very low one on Fourth Line. Tried up in the 8s, tried in the 7s, and eventually just said, hey, you know what? What the heck, $699, and just push hard on it. They're holding back on offers. Both properties are holding back till May 23rd. This one quotes at $1,950. The floor plans do show a little bit less than that. So historically speaking, it's a fantastic deal. I mean, this home, again, in 2016 is sold for mid to upper 8s on the high end. At the peak, it seems like the numbers now have kind of drifted closer to the upper 7s, maybe low 8s kind of thing. But we've seen, especially with townhouses and the detached single car garages, and I've witnessed this firsthand, we're probably seeing $20,000 to $25,000 less per week that's been going on. It's crazy. But you could look at that and say, okay, we've got to reframe this, because that seems really like a lot. But you got to remember, in February, we went up pretty much $100,000. We were all looking at each other with exactly the opposite energy, going, this is insane. So it's just kind of normalizing. But I think the human tendency is we're much more, I was talking about this with our team today, we're much more wired to feel the pain of loss and the fear of loss versus the excitement of gain. Losing is very tough for the human psychology, and that's kind of what it feels like when you're seeing these prices slide back down to, I don't want to say more normal rates, but you're definitely seeing a bit of a slide on a lot of these homes. I would say on average, depending on the type and style of home, we're probably down off of peak between $50,000 and $100,000. Now, in my opinion, these guys on Savaline kind of didn't get the memo on what's going on. So we've seen, and we saw this yesterday too, like the same square footage as this one, which is just around 2,000 square feet, double car garage, and you lose a bit of driveway space on this front garage, but then it opens up and gives you a bit of dining room space. But like $850, right? Like we're seeing a bunch of double car garages listed right now. $850 to $880 is a big range for double garages, some of which are even bigger than this. And so at $939, it's nice inside, but I feel like that ship has sailed. I don't think this one is really going to do anything decent in the 900s. Maybe I'm wrong. We still get surprised by things, but there's a lot of competition for way less than this. I'm doing a lot of hen talking lately. Anyway, Etheridge, 1.29 for 3,100 square feet. That's pretty high. If there's one redeeming quality about this one, it's the fact that it has 9 feet on the main level, 9 feet on the second level, which is very nice, and then you've got an 8'7" ceiling in the basement, which a lot of builders are not even doing anymore. So that's good. You'll notice the possession is July 12th of 2018. Now, assignments can be interesting. This is what this is they're selling the interest in the agreement of purchase and sale between the buyer and the builder. And so you get into some interesting conversations around this. For example, if the second buyer that it's assigned to doesn't work out, what happens with the deposit? What happens with, for example, closing costs? Who pays the closing costs? Who pays the development levies? Who pays the driveway deposit, the carry-on warranty? All that stuff has to be figured out. So it's a complicated, it's almost more complicated than the original agreement to do an assignment. It's a bit of a specialty thing. There are some lawyers that deal with it. We have a teammate, Joel, who's done a few of these. I've never done an assignment in my life, mostly because I believe that builders are charging way too much, and they still are, but it's been that way for years. I haven't been a big fan of new construction for 90% of the time and 90% of the projects that have come out. I just see a lot better value on resale. So, bottom line, get a good lawyer and get an agent who knows their way around this kind of stuff. So, that's it. There we go. That's the list. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. And this market, you got to know your stuff. You got to navigate it well. There are traps, just as many traps as when the market was doing this. When it's doing this, a changing market requires a lot of skill, expertise, and knowledge, and caring, because we really need to treat your money like it's ours. We need to make sure that what you're doing really looks good long term. So anyway, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.